Right. Hello. Happy witching hour. This is High Priestess Jamila, and I haven't done a live in a minute, and I thought I would come by and speak to y'all for a few minutes. And I wanted to speak about the less common. Well, it's not that these particular symptoms and signs of a curse or a cursed person. It's not that it is less common, but I think that it's not really talked about much in the spiritual community. And I thought I would come and talk about it. So, trigger warning, this is about the more serious signs of a curse. Um, some of the standard signs of a curse can be things like relationship problems, um, financial problems, being fired from a job, not being able to find a job, depression, anxiety, um, which are all very serious. Okay, those signs should not be ignored. But those are not the ones that I'm going to talk about at this witching hour. I'm going to talk about the real bad ones. Okay, because, in fact, the curses, the symptoms, and the level and the degree of the type of curse that are in and the manifestation of this particular type of curse, rarely are you going to find somebody that's willing to remove that from you. Rarely. It's got to be somebody that is extremely gifted, extremely have an extreme faith. It's got to be that somebody or either somebody that really cares about you or loves you. Okay. And so let's start talking about that. So obsessions, okay? Obsessions and preoccupations with uh maybe dangerous people, places, and things. Okay. That's gonna be sort of at the bottom of this list that I'm gonna go over with you guys. Okay. Um, extreme hallucinations. Okay, and I'm talking about where um and let me do a quick disclaimer. I am explaining the signs of curses, not mental illnesses. I am not a psychiatrist or a doctor. Okay, I am talking about the spiritual aspect of things. Okay. Um Thoughts of suicide and preoccupation with death. Having an extreme fear of death. Okay. Um, to the point where it interferes with your daily life or activities. That's more of a milder symptom. Um, Anger, extreme anger to the point where, and nobody's done anything, right? I'm not talking about where it's kind of normal to get angry when somebody's actually done something to you, something that could be harmful to yourself or someone you care about. I'm talking about being extremely angry at people, at the world with no good reason. And most of the time, people, um, A lot of the times people do have reasons to be angry and resentful. Okay, the world can be a very, very toxic, evil place. You know what I'm saying? Just especially if you've had some kind of trauma. But curses, what they will do is they will prevent you from healing. They will prevent you from healing the spirit and your mind. So um basically extreme anger and aggression. Okay. Um Homicidal fantasies. Okay, fantasizing about harming children, harming people, harming animals. Okay, can be a sign of being cursed. On this channel, there's actually a video where I spoke about Beatrice Bijou. If you guys want to go back and look for that video, y'all can check it out. I break down pretty much my assessment of the fact that Beatrice Bijou was factually cursed. Okay, she was factually cursed. And I'm not even saying that her mental illness had anything to do with it. It even, there's tons and tons of people walking around with mental illnesses and they don't drive a vehicle into a crowd of people. Okay. Um, Holding on to anger, holding grudges. Okay. Literally against people that have really done nothing to you. And when I say nothing, I mean things that would otherwise not be worth it. Okay. Worth throwing your life away. For example, if somebody calls you a name, if somebody, you know, if you're still holding on to that after 20 years, it's no longer that person's problem, then that's your problem. Okay. Um, Now, obviously, if someone did something to ruin your life or to do harm to somebody that you love or care about, obviously, if you never do anything about it, if you never take any action, and like I said, magic and witchcraft can help you with the mundane. Okay, things like rumors, regular mundane things, those things can be remedied with witchcraft. Okay. Um, but a lot of the times people will not, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't realize that, the regular mundane things that could possibly harm you, okay? Those things can be remedied with witchcraft, even if somebody is not doing witchcraft on you, okay? A curse does not always originate from a witch. A lot of people probably didn't know that. Curses don't just come. In fact, most curses don't come from witches at all. A lot of curses come from things that are sight unseen, you know, spirits, demons. Okay. Um, so you don't necessarily have to have a curse put on you by a witch. In fact, regular mundane things in society can facilitate a curse. Okay. Um, like for example, you know, if somebody spreads a rumor about you and everybody is looking at you with judgment and the rumor is not true, but people believe it, that would mean that you're cursed because people believe in that rumor about you, and it can be removed with witchcraft. However, um, usually with that, a lot of people, like for example, a lot of people don't realize how when somebody tells a falsehood on you, that's a direct attack from some kind of malevolent force. Okay. Um, self-harm. Okay, and I'm talking about cutting or burning yourself. Um, these are more some of the more extreme cases of being cursed that I've spoken about. I probably have left some things out, but those are pretty much some of the things that you have to look out for. Um, that's kind of why, like, when y'all see people, like if you're just kind of out on the street, or like you're walking downtown, or you're walking down the street, and somebody just comes up to you and they just start yelling in your face, right? When you walk away from that person, if that happens to you, you may feel cursed and you may already be cursed. But a lot of times, if you're dealing with somebody that has a lot of anger and a lot of aggression and a lot of visceral, that's a cursed person that you're dealing with. And a lot of people don't know. They just don't know what to do to help themselves. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for example, if you are, you know, already dealing with spiritual issues, and this happens to a lot of people, and you run into a person that is cursed, and that person has not gotten any help for that curse, because a curse is primarily caused by spirits, entities, okay, even sometimes demons, but mainly spirits and entities. And you run into that person and they are just, yelling, screaming, showing so much hatred towards you. And this can be either somebody that you know or don't know, that you're dealing with a cursed person. Okay. But if you yourself are exhibiting any of those symptoms, in particular, a preoccupation with death and dying, um, that's a sign of a curse. And I mean, there's tons and tons of videos, frequencies, prayers available on YouTube, even YouTube. Most people with those kinds of curses on them, they're not going to listen to those frequencies. They're not going to listen to those prayers. Feeling hopelessness, feeling like you can't get past it. It's a sign of being cursed. Now, most people, if they stay in that, like I said, um, most people, if they stay in that frame of mind, they usually sort of get stuck like that, kinda, unless you know, by some chance get lucky. But most of the time, people that are like that, they kind of end up sort of stuck like that. especially if they don't have some kind of faith or religion. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the times, religion, on its own, kind of doesn't help some people. You know what I'm saying? Like I see it all the time to where, you know, now don't get me wrong. If you are running around in circles, walking into a church is very healing. It's very calming and soothing to the soul. But you can't stay in the church 24 hours a day, can you? Nope. And so in that case, what the church would have to do is they would have to do an exorcism. Most churches don't do exorcisms. Most of them don't. So, and I mean, if I'm mistaken, pardon me, but I don't see it happening a lot. It's not practiced as much. So those extreme symptoms, especially if you're watching my channel, you're probably seeing people around you exhibiting those symptoms. Okay, especially if people are threatening you very violently, if there's violent threats, if there are, any kind of threats. Um, and people display their fear in different ways. Everybody that has anxiety is not going to be in a mode, because anxiety can have different levels and degrees. Anxiety can be at a 1 or it can be at a 10. And so, but sometimes anxiety can be expressed through aggression, extreme anger, okay, violence, um what's another word I was thinking about? Extreme fear, to where you kind of feel like everybody's out to get you, which I know that there are some circumstances that can happen in life that can make you feel that way sometimes, and I've been there, done that. But I think that you have to have an extremely close relationship with either what we call God, source, your spirit guides, your angels. You have to have a close relationship. Otherwise, your fear is just gonna continue to compound itself until the next thing you know, you feel like the entire world is out to get you. And those are extreme cases. And I'm talking about, just thinking that the world is out to get you doesn't it I feel like that particular symptom would have to go along with 1 to 3 of the other symptoms to have, like, and most of the time, I've never removed I'm lying. Yes, I have. I have removed a curse that bad off of a few people before. Um but most of the time, like most of my clients that I see, um they kind of catch it before it gets that bad. But what I was going to say about that is that there can be several different entities that are pretty much plaguing those people. And so, yeah, these you don't hear anybody talking. I've never heard any spiritualists talk about that. They probably have, but I've never seen them talk about that, because typically symptoms like that, what they do to explain it away is that somebody's just crazy. That's it. But for me, I've got to have a better explanation. When somebody can't explain something, they'll just say, "Oh, that's crazy." Uh, but I don't know. I don't, I really honestly don't believe that the world is going to just heal itself. I believe that people need to wake up to that, but like on a large scale, y- you know, the world is really not ready to heal. And that's pretty much not the current agenda with a lot of the agendas that we have going on. So, mainly to just kind of, I wanted to have this discussion so that y'all can understand why you're seeing so many violent, just over the top, oh man, just out there. You know what I'm saying? Just really, really out there to the point where, they are losing their grip. Okay. Um, there was another symptom that I was looking up. When you sometimes I think that other symptoms would have to be present, but I would say hyper competitiveness as well, where somebody's hyper competitive. But I'm not gonna get too much into that because this is YouTube, and then people will really get triggered. Okay, so I'm not trying to trigger trolls or anything. I just wanted to come and talk to you about the serious symptoms of that. And we have a pink moon that's coming up on the full moon. And I am gonna do a world vigil candle because my spirits is seeing this get worse and not better on a global scale. It's getting worse for some people. Like, for example, you and we're sitting at home in our beds warm, probably watching a movie, eating some popcorn, having a late night snack. But there's some people that are literally yanking their hair out, scratching the walls. They're just so, I mean, just, they're just so filled with anger and aggression and sadness and loathing of the world, right? You know what I'm saying? So, um, and, spirits really, really, really want people to start protecting themselves, like seriously, because the people around you are freaking out. They are freaking out. You know what I'm saying? Like people, not you, but people outside of yourself. And, uh, you know, my spirits are seeing it get worse in the month of May. And we compare it a lot with the zombie apocalypse because that's pretty much kind of what it's almost like, wow, what is going on? But, cursed people are really, really making it seem like, oh, this is the end of the world. And it's because they're going through this scenario in their mind that doesn't actually, I mean, it doesn't exist, right? The things that they are super duper hyper focused on. It's not to say that it can't happen, but and also being super duper focused on the end of the world. Okay. That's another symptom of it. Okay. Now I do believe in prepping. It's nothing wrong with doomsday prepping, but it's not going to happen. Okay. God loves us. But a lot of these cursed people that have these malevolent entities on them, they are going to start freaking out really bad. It's going to get worse as the summer comes up. Okay, it's going to get worse to the point where I've actually thought about purchasing some protection, if you know what I mean. And y'all know I got my spiritual guns. And I think it's because I don't want to start getting into conspiracies and agendas and stuff, but it's kind of like that thing to where, oh, let's watch all of the common folk just sort of, destroy each other. Yeah. So, you got to look out for yourself. I stumbled upon a video, and I didn't watch the video because I've watched way too many videos like that, but there was a video, and it was entitled, it was about a woman that had gotten murdered by her ex. And evidently she had went to court and tried to get a restraining order, and the judge denied her the restraining order. And the ex-husband pretty much murdered her. And people have to get out of the habit of thinking that the government is here to protect you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. The we can get mad at that judge for not granting her the restraining order, but if he was going to do something, he was going to do something regardless if she had a restraining order. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, like so that's all I'm saying. Like, get spiritually right and understand, like the global thing that the world is going through right now. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of constantly depending on it, because now that same judge, well, probably not the same judge because it would be a different courtroom, but a judge is now going to prosecute that man and put him in prison for doing it. And so your safety and your protection is going to be you and God. Okay. And that's all it is to it. And your spirit guides and your spirits and your ancestors. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and the link to my website is below in the video description box. All right. Bless, bless. Bye bye.